so when I left that initial surgeon's office, I felt scared. I felt hopeless. I felt just really, really scared. And when I left Humanizing Medicine, I felt supported. I felt hopeful. I felt inspired. I felt taken care of. And so my name is Ember Bird, and I'm from Centerville. I don't know how to answer that. I grew up mostly in Georgia or South Carolina, so I'm from Centerville currently. And I was first diagnosed in February 22nd of 2023. I worked at a school for 11 years, and then I jumped into a whole new career path doing life coaching, and I had started on this health journey before I was diagnosed. So I was working with a personal trainer. I was getting strong. I started doing jujitsu and trying new things and exploring and really trying to challenge myself. I have a daughter and a family, and we had dogs, and I was just really trying to enjoy life and create a life that I love. I actually didn't have any signs that something was wrong. I had no symptoms necessarily. I turned 40. I didn't want to do a mammogram. And then I was getting ready for the gym one day and just happened to be stretching in the mirror and saw like a little lump right there, and tried not to freak out and got into the doctor that day, and that turned out to be nothing. But because of that, I got my mammogram and found the cancer. So I didn't even have symptoms at all. It was a little surreal. I actually had a dream that morning that I went to get my results, and I had this dream that I was writing a thank you letter to cancer. And I remember waking up and going, I don't have cancer, that's weird. And then I knew that I could see my results in the portal, and I went to get my results, but again, I had no family history. I thought there's just no way. But I got a ping on my phone saying my results were in. So I thought, well, I'm in the doctor's office anyways. I'll just go ahead and look at them. And I saw the word carcinoma and thought, wait a minute, that's cancer, isn't it? And so I looked at it, and then the doctor came in shortly with an entourage of people that were training. So it was surreal. So the surgeon recommended chemo, surgery, radiation. He recommended everything. I was on a more natural path at that point. I really didn't want any of that. And because of the type of cancer I had, I'm pretty sure we knew at that point it was triple negative. We might not have known, but because of my age and it being triple negative, he said, this is what you have to do. He told me I would die if I didn't do chemo. He scared the bejesus out of me and didn't give me any time to think. Like if it were hormone positive, they can give me hormone blockers. There's different things that they can do, but with triple negative, it's not feeding off hormones. So they can't do hormone blockers. The only thing they can recommend is chemo, surgery, radiation. And so if you look at the statistics are scary. It's more aggressive. I always knew I wasn't a statistic, and I love in radical remission, they say, believe the diagnosis, not the prognosis. So I just knew that I was meant to heal, and I could be different. I don't know. They had scheduled everything before I even had a moment to like process anything. So it was really, really fast. But after that, I went into the car and I called some friends, and she told me she thought this was gonna be the best thing that ever happened to me. And while on the one hand, it was like I hadn't had time to process, and I had tears coming, and I was trying to process all the newness, I also believed that cancer was a messenger and was here to push me into who I wanted to be. So it was like that duality. I decided I would do surgery. So I decided to do a lumpectomy. I decided not to do chemo and radiation. I wanted to go a more natural path. And for some reason, I just believed that I was supposed to heal naturally, and that was gonna show people you could do this the natural way, and I was gonna be a miracle. And so I kind of hodgepodged my treatment together because I had found a treatment center in Mexico, but it was like $40,000. And so I thought, I can't do that. So I did, red light therapy, I did colonics, I did lots of supplements, I did a lot of things that I did on my own. I drove basically all over Georgia piecing together my treatment plan, and I found Humanizing Medicine. It's in a small building, and I was like, I don't know. But I walked in and I got grandma vibes is the only thing I could say. I don't know what it was like my grandmother was there, or just the coziness of the house made me feel like it was walking into my grandma's house. It just felt like I was meant to be there. And, his wife was walking around singing, and it's just like everything was very welcoming and inviting, and everyone was so personable. I felt like they were one of the only places I could go where I felt seen and heard and supported, and they didn't make me feel stupid. They didn't make me feel crazy. They didn't try to scare me into things. For my conventional treatment, I ended up finding City of Hope, and I feel the same there. I feel like they were more conventional than I wanted, but I've felt a similar thing there. But Humanizing Medicine feels more like home, and it felt like the support I needed mentally, emotionally, and physically with the supplements and everything that they offer. Surgery was the lumpectomy. It was quite traumatic. It was just an experience I would never want to do again. After I was re-diagnosed, I decided I needed to do everything I could to heal, and so I wanted to do a more integrative approach. And so I did do chemo, surgery, radiation last year, and then oral chemo, and just finished treatment this past July. So I had a choice because of my finances. I could either do the mistletoe before chemo, or I could pay to do the cold cap and keep my hair, hopefully. And I decided the mistletoe was more important. It was more supportive, and I never got nauseous. I never threw up during chemo. It was very different than what you see in TV. And I really think it was the mistletoe. Everyone was very impressed with how well I did through chemo, especially my daughter. I did lose my hair, but it was a whole bonding moment. My daughter shaved it. We did it in her high school theater. There's a beautiful video that came out of it of her doing it. My hair came back curly, and I've always wanted curly hair, so there's a benefit to chemo. So I forgot to mention, one of the things Dr. Hancock told me about was the thermofield, the heat. And so he talked about putting the heat pad on my tumor so that I could do it during chemo. It would bring more blood flow and bring more chemo to the area. And so that's really what signaled people to go, what are you doing? Because I had a whole cart. I had like a little rolly cart. I would bring it. I would set up the machine. My friend who came with me to my first chemo treatment called it the Ghostbuster machine. She just thought it was the coolest thing. And after that first week, the tumor, they were already impressed that it had gotten so soft and seemed to be, they couldn't feel it as much. And by week 3, they couldn't feel it at all. And so it was definitely working. To shrink the tumor, to make it more soft, to make it go away, but also I just, they were impressed how well I did during chemo and not getting sick. And when I walked through City of Hope, I didn't look like a cancer patient. Aside from like headaches and constipation, those were my 2 biggest side effects. And so I think it made me go through just and have a completely different experience than anybody else I've heard. They also, I was supposed to do a protocol that had what they call the Red Devil, the second half of the protocol. I think the whole protocol was the keynote. I do have chemo brain. I can't remember the numbers if there's something, but because I was having such a good response, the oncologist said, how would you feel about discontinuing treatment? Not discontinuing, de-escalating treatment. And so I didn't even have to do the second half of that protocol. because they were so impressed with my results. They said, you can go straight to surgery. We'll just do these 12 weeks. And yeah, I think mistletoe and the thermofield and the supplements Dr. Hancock recommended and all the things that I was doing to support my body really just helped me heal. Yeah, I mean, I had friends that were very sick during chemo. They would tell me, I think maybe day 3, was the hardest, and the energy wasn't there. And so I think that I tell everybody about mistletoe. I think they were very impressed that I didn't get nauseous. I mean, I had the nausea medicine, I just never had to use it. So that was definitely different. The nausea and vomiting, I think, was the biggest difference, and energy level. Because I was still in the beginning trying to go to jujitsu. I was trying to do these things in the beginning and prove to myself that I was still myself, but then I had to really learn to listen to my body and slow down. Because I did have harder days, but it was more energy and brain fog, and I'm a human, and there were side effects, but it wasn't anything like it would have been, I think, had I not found mistletoe and the supplements and the supportive clinic that Humanizing Medicine is. After my surgery, I went through depression, and I think radiation, I went through more depression, but at that point I wasn't doing the IV mistletoe anymore. I was living in a hotel away from my family for 6 weeks to do radiation. My surgery, this second time, I had a lumpectomy that was night and day difference from the first one, but I had 3 positive lymph nodes. And at first that hit me really hard, and I thought nothing I'm doing works, and I was very upset. And then I realized he never took more lymph nodes that first time. They were probably always positive, and everything that I was doing to support my body probably kept it from spreading. And it was just 3. She took 9 total, and only 3 were positive. And so I was able to flip that in my mind when I realized they were probably always positive. I find that there are like polar opposites on both sides. And that's something I had to come to realize, is when I was wanting to go all natural, I really fed into the fear of conventional. And I had a friend who really helped me see, like, Ember, you don't know. And that's when I found like the Radical Remission book, and people were healing from all natural or conventional or integrative. So I really liked that Humanizing Medicine did both, because they had chemo there. I actually talked to their, I think it's the oncologist there, and she recommended chemo as well. And so I found, for me personally, and everyone has to find their own path, that my approach needed to be more integrative. But there was fear on both sides, like both extremes. And so finding a place, because you don't have to stay with the place that scares the bejesus out of you. And I think that I really had to come to a place where I'm not fighting either side. I'm using the best of both sides to help support me in the best way I can, because I want to heal. And I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to, again, like I said earlier, there's fear on both sides. If you're in the all natural side, they're like, no, conventional. If you're over here, they're like, no, don't do all natural. It was utilizing the best of both to help me not only heal from cancer, but do it in the healthiest, most supported way. It's changed my life in every way. I feel like I'm a better parent. I feel like I take things less seriously that don't matter, because it puts into perspective what's important and what I want my life to be, because you just never know how much time you have here, whether you've been diagnosed or not. I mean, you could be hit by a bus tomorrow. You just never know. And so what are you doing to experience the things you want to experience now? And I think that cancer made that more apparent to me. And it showed me that I really need to take care of my body, that this is the only body I have, and without it, I'm not gonna be here. So how can I support it and treat it well and love on it instead of, and find peace in it, And it became more about trying to feel healthy and strong versus, the obsession with my weight. I feel like my weight has been a struggle all my life, and all of a sudden I had to pivot. And I'm like, all right, I don't care what the scale says. It's about, do I feel strong, healthy? And I'm still on a journey, and it's still, you know, it's a lifelong thing. I think the thing that surprised me the most is I felt I would reach this end where I'd feel normal again. And by normal, I mean like my old self. And it was a little jarring to realize that you have a new normal, and it's not better or worse necessarily, it's just different. And I had to grieve the old life. Also, I thought after I'm done, I'll feel better. Like I'll feel just more myself. And I have to remember, you know, I haven't been exercising as much as I did before treatment, and I need to rebuild those muscles, and I need to give myself grace and listen to my body and learn to love my body in a different way. I think that was also harder because I felt like I had just learned to love my body, and then it changed, and now I'm in menopause, and I have scars, and I have, you know, these things that are different, and I had to learn to love myself all over again. So that was surprising. It gave me hope and reminded me that I didn't have to do this alone, and there were people out here who believed the same things I did, who could support me without tearing me down, without scaring me. Yeah, it was like I found my place and my people. And again, I got grandma vibes when I found the house. I don't know how to, it sounds so silly, but I remember sitting there and I'm going, oh, I don't know if my grandma is here or if this just reminds me of her house. It's just so cozy and warm and welcoming. And I knew I was supposed to be there. And I liked the name. I liked the name Humanizing Medicine because it's not, I didn't feel like a statistic. I didn't feel like I was rushed. Dr. Hancock always took time to talk to me, and yeah, they treat you as a human, and that's important, especially when you're dealing with something that can be so scary and is scary in so many ways. Having somebody that makes you feel seen and heard and supported is important. And it made all the difference. I think integrative to me means supporting the whole system. And we are, I believe, a spirit and a body. I have a mind, I have emotions, everything affects each other. We store emotions in our body. Part of my healing path was really tapping into anger, which is an emotion that I hadn't been able to tap into before. I'd done a lot of emotional work, but anger and learning the connection with maybe cancer and all the things, it was fascinating to go down that rabbit hole. Everything connects. And so I feel like by taking an integrative approach and looking at all the aspects of healing, it makes it so much easier, but also it's like a domino effect. You know, when you start paying attention to your emotions, your body feels better. When you start taking care of yourself physically, you mentally feel better. When I go for walks and connect with nature, I can like clear my mind. So it's all connected anyways. We just don't often look at it in society sometimes. I just went down different rabbit holes. So I would say go down the rabbit holes of what you're wanting to find and know that there are options, but also at some point you have to quiet the noise, sit with what you found, find your path, and be okay if it changes. You have to be able to pivot when life throws you things. I find that like each next step on the path led me to somewhere else, and you don't have to know 5 steps ahead, just focus on the one thing. When I was in chemo, I was focused on getting through chemo. And then I was like, okay, I have surgery next. And then for me, I got surprised. I didn't realize I was doing oral chemo. That was like, I thought I was done. So being able to pivot again and go, oh, okay. But just focusing on what's right in front of you so you're not overwhelmed, because it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Yep.
Oh my God, everyone. Listen, my little love muffins.
Ember is cancer free.